The Italian Radio Hour is sponsored by Istituto Mondo Italiano.
Buonasera a tutti. Good evening and welcome to the Italian Radio Hour. Io sono Stefano.
E io sono Viviana. Stefano, come stai oggi?
Non c'è male, non c'è male. E tu come stai?
Benissimo, una bellissima giornata di primavera. I think spring is coming. I can feel it.
It's close, but the groundhog said 6 weeks, so...
I don't know, but my kitty, I have a ground kitty day in my house, so she's ready to go out.
I saw that big yellow thing in the sky. I was excited. We want to welcome our listeners. Obviously, we also want to welcome our new listeners, and more importantly, we want to welcome those who are listening online at khbradio.com.
Quindi benvenuti a tutti i nostri ascoltatori in tutto il mondo. This program will be both in English and Italian, and will feature stories of people who love the Italian culture just like you. So if at any point you want to share your story with us, have an interesting connection to Italy, or want to sponsor one of the episodes, just contact us at TheItalianRadioHour@gmail.com and we'll get in touch with you.
And be sure to like us on Instagram and Facebook at The Italian Radio Hour. Now, in our last episode, we had some very interesting guests. We had 4 young men who immigrated here not too long ago, and talked about their experiences. And one funny, or I should say interesting thing to take away from there was, and it's kind of similar to your experience, when you came here, you were able to keep your Italian culture while they're young. So they're coming here from an Italian family. They have their Italian culture, but they're also being raised as Americans, which was very interesting, or very different, I should say, from Bob a couple of weeks ago, who talked about, hey, when he grew up, no Italian spoke. So, your thoughts, how does that reconcile with you?
There are certain things where the history will repeat itself. The same challenges that these kids have faced when they came to the U.S. But thanks to the evolution also technology and other things, I think the transition or just people getting used to have more people coming from other countries always helps.
Well, even being allowed to keep your culture and your tradition more so
Indeed.
Now than 100 years ago. I mean, you're American, yes, but you are
there is
allowed
room
to
for
be.
both.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And many more.
Now, the most important thing that came out of there was something about gelato, and I think that was a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to go back there and eat that.
Oh, you didn't get some of the gelato? Okay.
So we're going to have to talk about that. But the most important thing is, everybody, this is what people tune in for. They tune in for the phrases, I want to say pays, but we're not paying. But the phrase from last week was a carnevale ogni scherzo.
A carnevale ogni scherzo vale, which is the sentence you're going to hear most frequently during the period of Carnival, which is, unfolding and from beautiful Venice, Viareggio, then you have also in Sardinia and so forth. So it means a carnival. Any joke, any prank goes.
And we actually had a few people that replied to that.
I was amazed. People are sending emails at midnight and, trying to make the cut because we were going to give away a box of baci Perugina. And can you announce the name of the winner?
I believe that Angela Morrison has won.
Indeed. And I just wanted to give you, before we bring our super guests online with us, a little history about the baci Perugina, because this is their 100-year anniversary. And so the baci Perugina is probably the most gifted chocolate around Valentine's, or you don't need it. You don't need any excuse to eat or gift the baci. But it was actually a creation by very famous fashion designer and entrepreneur, Luisa Spagnoli. You still see her stores everywhere throughout Italy. And she had come up with this very innovative idea for a new recipe that included both the hazelnuts that were getting chopped, because we know also Piedmont is the land for hazelnuts and chocolate. So she came up with this chocolate, but she called it cazzotto, which in Italian means a punch, because the hazelnut on top reminded her of the knuckle of your hand. Well, would you want to eat a chocolate that is called a punch? So later on, with a little bit of influence by Giovanni Buitoni is another brand everyone recognizes in Italy. He suggested to change the name to baci because, people rather, they would prefer a kiss to a punch. But the nice thing that everyone loves about baci is that little piece of paper inside that has a love note. And rumor has it that kind of those handwritten, those notes were inspired by the secret handwritten messages between Buitoni and Luisa Spagnoli. That was a love affair. It was a secret love affair. Now, as I said, the Baci Perugina are coming to their 100-year anniversary. Dolce Gabbana designed a beautiful packaging, and the chocolate inside is actually lemon flavored and coated with white chocolate and a hint of vanilla. And I brought you some.
Oh, perfecto, because you had me at chocolate. I even just a chocolate, and I'm done.
This chocolate is so. There are 1,500 baci are produced every minute.
Wow.
And that's I'm going to leave it at.
And I'm going to try and eat 1,500 baci every minute.
Okay, so time to bring our guests on. And one more minute of patience because we have our first pubblicità. Parli italiano? Do you want to learn, improve, or master your Italian? Istituto Mondo Italiano can help. Located in the heart of Regent Square, Mondo Italiano offers small group classes and one-on-one private tutoring to help you learn Italian in no time. Please visit us online at www.istitutomondoitaliano.org.
Rizzo's Malabar Inn is an Italian restaurant located in Crabtree, PA. It has been owned and operated by the DeFabo family through 5 generations. Since opening in 1935, Rizzo's has become a renowned local landmark of Westmoreland County. Along with a restaurant, banquet, and wedding venue, they are also a full-service catering business. In addition, Rizzo's Malabar Inn operates a successful line of Italian retail products, including homemade jarred pasta sauce, frozen pastas, and soups such as gnocchi, cavatelli, ravioli, wedding soup, and pasta fagioli. Look for these Rizzo's Malabar Inn products and more at your local grocery store.
Okay, finalmente, we're ready to bring our special guest online. Before, you were talking about the word experience and what Giovanni and Chantelle from TheItalianonTour, your backstage pass to experiencing Italy like a local, is exactly the people that are going to introduce us to the beautiful region of Marche. It is 11 p.m. their time. They're calling us from Le Marche. Giovanni, Chantelle, buonasera.
Buonasera.
Finalmente, grazie per la vostra pazienza. So, let's introduce a little bit. People know where the Marche is, but for those that don't have the map on hand, would you geographically tell our listeners where Le Marche is located?
Absolutely. Le Marche is in central Italy, so it's one side is on the Adriatic coast, and Le Marche essentially means borders. So it's bordered by Abruzzo, Emilia-Romagna, Tuscany, Umbria, and Lazio. So it's central, but it's on the other side of the coast. When you think of Lazio, that's where Rome is. So it's just 3 hours from Rome if you take it by car, and then you'd be in Ascoli where we are.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's start with a little bit about your individual backgrounds. Chantelle, you are Canadian. Giovanni, you're Italian, but you have also traveled and studied all over. So maybe let's start with Chantelle. How did you end up in Italy, or maybe in Europe first?
Well, I first went to Europe when I was 18, and I backpacked around Europe by myself because my family roots are Croatian and German. So I really fell in love with the European culture because that was what I grew up with. And Giovanni and I met actually in Canada. So I was more intrigued by Italy after I met Giovanni because it was just kind of a natural thing to meet somebody that you fall in love with and find more about their culture and visit the place with them. It's a different type of experience, and that's the kind of experience that we bring to our guests, where they get to actually have somebody there to translate the local experience.
Mm-hmm. And Giovanni, you also have traveled quite a bit, so you're very familiar with also the U.S. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening. Yes, I am familiar with the U.S. because when I was 15, I moved to New York to Long Island. I went to boarding school there for 3 years, as my sister was working in New York City at the time. And then I spent a year and a half in San Diego, California, and then I went up to Canada, finished my school there. I met my wife, Chantelle, and then after 18 years abroad, moved back here about 6 years ago.
Okay. Was it easy to, and was it a shared kind of this plan to move to Italy? How did that idea of moving back to Italy came about? And did you already know what you were planning to do when back in Italy?
Well, I always wanted to return to Europe, and we really just loved Italy, and I loved Ascoli. It was different than traveling to the big cities. It was actually really being immersed in local culture. So I always wanted to move back, and I said to Giovanni, we should go back and start our business. And this was really ignited by having our wedding here with all our guests, people coming from all around the world for our wedding. We organized the big wedding for ourselves with the events. We gave people local insight and experiences and basically helped them travel around Le Marche and around the area here. And that's when we realized people really, really loved Le Marche, and they really loved Montepulciano, and a lot of people extended their stay here instead of going to other places like Rome and Tuscany. And that really kind of just set things off for us, where we were like, we can go back here, combine our passions, because my passion is travel and Giovanni's passion is food and wine, and start this travel company. So that's kind of how it went.
So was that area chosen because you liked the area, or was Giovanni's family from there?
Yeah, my family is from Puglia, actually, in southern Italy, but we've been here. I've been here. I grew up here, and then when I was 15, I moved to the U.S. But we chose it because my father still lived here, and this is where I grew up. So that was kind of a no-brainer for us.
It's also where we got married, so we have a lot of beautiful memories here, and we would come here every summer to stay with Giovanni's dad, and that was essentially our yearly vacation in Italy, was coming back to Montepulciano and Le Marche, and also a bit of Abruzzo as well.
Now I'm curious. So you are, and we're gonna jump into the what you all do here in a second, but you're focused in that area, or are you guys moving around, bouncing all over Italy?
We focus on Italy's hidden regions. So right now we do Le Marche, Abruzzo, and we also do Veneto, but more the Prosecco Hills and that area, but we only do 2 tours a year there. The rest is mostly Le Marche and Abruzzo.
Now, the question I think everyone who's listening is probably going, okay, who are these people and what do they do? So there are a lot of people that do tours. What makes you guys special?
Well, I guess I would say the lovely writer who wrote about us in Forbes, she had a really, really good saying that we were the perfect guides to translate the Italian experience. And I think what really makes the difference is that both Giovanni and I have lived abroad. Both of us understand not only as a traveler how people want to experience Italy, but we've designed our tours in a way that immerses people in the local culture, and our guests really say it's like traveling with your friends who happen to be local experts who introduce you to other, food and wine experts, olive oil producers, and so people really love that experience where it's very familiar, it's very personal, and it's not just another tour, and it's not put together by other people. We curate all the experiences, and we host every single one of our tours. So everything is personally vetted by us, and quality is very important to us as well when it comes to food and wine.
I had the pleasure to travel around Marche. That's probably, it's one of the regions where you're better off with smaller vehicles, because otherwise, sometimes you have these big buses, and there are certain streets you just can't, even a Fiat 500 might be a little too big. And by talking to Chantelle and Giovanni, the announcement for this episode that we shared on Facebook was close your eyes and dream about the coastline of Le Marche, add a truffle hunting trip and some olive ascolane, wash them down with a nice glass of Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, and voila, magic is done. Now, this was my way of interpreting and very shortening the many things that they do. So let's all close our eyes, and you, Giovanni and Chantelle, take us virtually on Le Marche for a few minutes. Make us dream.
Well, the first thing I can think of is when you step into the piazza, Ascoli's Piazza, Piazza del Popolo. It's just spectacular. It's one of Italy's most beautiful squares. It's covered in travertine, and it's absolutely stunning at golden hour, like when the sun's coming down. It's the perfect place for you to have an aperitivo, have an Aperol Spritz, and just people watch. And of course, aperitivo time in Ascoli means having olive ascolane with a glass of passerina spumante.
Could you just elaborate first for those that have never had the pleasure to enjoy some olive ascolane, and also for some that might hear pecorino for the first time, talk a little bit about this wine?
Yes, so the olive ascolane, well, you, Viviana, you know what they are. You've had them before. So
they're addictive.
They're a traditional dish in Ascoli, quintessential traditional dish here. And, I mean, like everything in Italy, everybody's got their own recipe. Every family has their own recipe. But generally, it's a Ascolana olive. You know, it's from a tree that grows in the southern region of Le Marche, Ascolana DOP olive. And it's a smaller olive, very juicy. And then it's stuffed with 2 or 3 kinds of meat, normally chicken, sometimes turkey, beef, or pork. And then it's fried lightly in a pan. And they're served with pecorino, which is probably the number one wine, and it's been a very mentioned wine also in the U.S. in the past 5 or 10 years, as you find it more and more on the shelves. But it's been brought back from the mountains. It's a very old wine that used to grow in the area near the mountains in the center of Italy, in Lazio and Marche and Umbria. That's been revived in the 80s, and in the last 10, 15 years has had kind of a boom, just like Prosecco, since we're going to probably mention Veneto later, one of our tours. But and it's a very acidic, and that's a good thing. But the acidity goes well with the olive because it goes well with fried food. So,
is it a correct statement to say that probably everyone has their own secret recipe of the olive ascolane? And do you have someone specific that you take your travelers to?
Yes, we do. It's actually the villa where we got married. She's lovely, and we do all our cooking classes with her in a 17th century villa in the countryside around Ascoli. And it's been in her family for years, and she's very passionate cook, so the food's amazing, the hospitality's lovely, and it's really a beautiful experience. Not only do you get to learn to cook a traditional dish, you also get to do it in a historic place.
So we were left at the aperitivo before I interrupted you. So we're still closing our eyes and dreaming, doing a lot of people watching, sunset and everything. Time for dinner. So what are some of the specialties that people can expect from the Cucina Marchigiana?
So yeah, the Cucina Marchigiana is very traditional in that sense. So because the Le Marche is historically was agricultural, and then it's turned into other things. Like now it's famous for shoemakings and leather productions and other things. But we have things like called Vincis Grassi, which is a traditional lasagna. Everybody knows what lasagna is. This is a little bit different, and it's got a few different ingredients in it, also paired with either Rosso Piceno, which is a red wine, or Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. That's probably, with the Olive all'Ascolana, the Vincis Grassi is actually, I'd say, the most well-known in Italy dish when it comes to cuisine of Le Marche. So you would have that on one of the days.
Okay, sorry.
Made, like at home. So this is Vincis Grassi. It's a complicated dish to make, so not a lot of people do it at home anymore. So the places that do it, they're very good at it.
Like a lasagna, but more layers.
Yeah, more layers.
More layers. And then, if you go across Le Marche also has a lovely coastline and amazing
Indeed.
seafood. So throughout the different towns, they have a different prodotto. So there's one from San Benedetto. It's like a seafood broth of fish, and some of them are agrodolce, so like sweet and sour sort of. So each kind of town has ones that are slightly different, and that's a very traditional dish. But along the coast, you'll find a lot of different styles of restaurants now. You'll find everything that from traditional to more modern cuisine. And actually, we take guests to dine in a fort that Napoleon built in the coast of Conero, which is a national park. So it's right on the water. It's stunning, and it's a must-see if you come to Le Marche. You have to go to the coast of Conero. The beaches are beautiful. They're very natural, and a lot of the beaches you can go and take a boat, and they're private and secluded. So it's something everybody should see when they come to Le Marche.
Now, I have a very practical question. These sound fantastic, but the average tourist is not going to know, or how do they get there? How do you guys work?
Not yet.
you
Chantelle
guys,
is going to tell
right,
us,
you're gonna
or
tell us
Giovanni.
how does somebody get there? Right.
How does somebody get to Le Marche?
Sure. They want. Let's say I'm listening. I'm a listener right now, and I say, oh my God, this sounds fantastic. I want to do this.
Maybe they are in Rome.
Right.
Maybe they're already in Rome.
You have us. You can find us.
You can also come here without, of course. But
we offer tours of our region, and you can find us online at www.TheItalianonTour.com. But if you're looking to do it by yourself, you definitely need to rent a car, because a lot of the sites to see are in the interior, and they're smaller towns and villages. So that's the one thing I would recommend to anybody who wants to see Le Marche, is to do it by car.
Now, I was going to say, are you guys? Well, here's the question: if I'm in Rome, and I'm
That's
thinking,
how do you want to
I'm
go?
I'm thinking of you. I'm going, boy, I want to try some of this little vino and try this food. Do you guys pick up in Rome? Do you have tours? Like, how do you get them there?
Pick our guests up in Rome at the airport. So our guests who are coming to Le Marche, we pick them up. They don't have to worry about that. We meet them at the airport, and we take them to Ascoltaci. And our tours are based out of Ascoltaci. So that's really nice, because you get to unpack once, and then we take people to all these amazing day trips that go through Le Marche. And because we're in southern Le Marche, we are also very close to Abruzzo, so we also are able to take people to Abruzzo as well. So you get to see more than one region when you come on tour with us.
Chantelle, I'm still dreaming. I'm still dreaming about that truffle hunting trip that we mentioned, and I can just imagine these scouting. Please take me to a hunting trip. Okay, this is my promise. When I'm coming back to Italy this summer, I'm going to come and see you. Not necessarily, the hunting season. Maybe you can elaborate on when is the best time. But can you tell us a little bit about this experience? Because I have a feeling this is something that also children might enjoy. Who doesn't love interacting with dogs that are like scouting? Tell me a little bit about your trip.
Absolutely. It's a really, really fun experience that we do almost year-round when we offer our tours, and it's like there's a synergy between man and man's best friend when they do the truffle hunting. So it's really exciting. The dog gets super excited, and the truffle hunter has to get the dog excited. It's a lot of work for the dog. It's really very interactive, so it's a really fun experience, because not only do you get to meet the dogs, meet the truffle hunter, and go forage for the truffles, you also get to eat the truffles that you find on your truffle hunt. And it's really a unique experience, something that everyone should do once in their lifetime.
Truffle on tagliatelle, truffle on gelato. I would put a little bit of truffle anywhere.
Tagliatelle, actually, we make, after we get the truffles, we have somebody that makes the tagliatelle for us, and then, on the property there's chicken, so we go get the eggs, and we make the pasta right there, and then we eat it in front of this amazing view. So it's kind of like everything you imagine about Italy. The truffle day, especially on a nice summer day, is what you're dreaming of.
And the nice thing is that probably you're indeed working with other locals, so that, again, as you said, the eggs, the pasta might come from someone that is very close to you. So when we talk about sustainability and kilometro zero and things like that, this is what these experiences really bring to you. Because sometimes what happens, you might be traveling and just taking pictures, a lot of things, and then 3 months later, not even a year later, you don't remember. But if you connect with one experience, you will remember that forever. Is there any episode or funny story that you want to share with us before you go into what people can do to sign up for get their chance to win a trip to Tuscany? But please, do you have any little story?
You have any stories, Giovanni? Giovanni probably has chef stories because he used to sell truffles for a living when we were in Canada.
Yeah, we're talking about the truffle, and it's not necessarily related to the tours, but truffles. And if anybody who's listening in has had them or goes and reads about them after this, they're called the diamond of the table, diamante della tavola, for a reason. They're very expensive, very hard to find. There's a lot of competition, and you'll listen to a lot of stories also from the person, in regards to dogs and what goes into training for the dogs and whatnot. So there will be some funny stories when you come, because our truffle guy, he has some great stories from selling truffles in London. And sometimes people try to tell you it's truffle, but in reality it's something else. So there'll be some stories that.
That's why we hunt for the truffles, so you know that you're seeing
they're
the
fresh.
truffle.
They're
fresh.
real thing.
They're real thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah.
So can you tell us about the ongoing promotion and then how people can get a hold of the Italian on Tour?
Absolutely. So right now we're doing a giveaway for our 7-day trip, which is called Italy Undiscovered. So it's a 7-day food and wine lovers escape to Italy's next Tuscany, which is Le Marche. And this tour takes you through mostly Le Marche and a bit of Abruzzo. And you can enter it by going to our website, which is www.TheItalianonTour.com. And clicking the banner on our website, or you can also click the link in the bio on our Instagram, which is @TheItalianonTour, or you can go directly to it with a bit.ly link, which is bit.ly/win a trip to Italy with us. And that'll take you directly to the page where you can sign up. You basically have till the end of the month to sign up, and you can get lots of entries in, share it with your friends, your family, so you can increase your chances of winning. And so, you have the chance to get a free trip with us.
Can we share it? Can we share on the website, on our website as well, on our Facebook page and so forth?
Yeah, you can absolutely share it.
Okay, wonderful. Any last thing that you would like to tell us before we say our arrivederci? Because I'm coming to see you this summer.
Wait to see you.
Yes, you're gonna come for truffles with us. So
okay, I've been adopted.
It's a good time.
They're gonna make me scared.
One last thing is, because the truffle is a cool thing, and it's something that people look forward to. They've heard about it and read about it and wonder what it's like, but. Truffle season is not year-round, and although we do it, from May to November, really the peak of the season is in November when we do the truffle tour, which is only once a year, and we wanted it that way because that's a real thing, because that's when truffle, the good stuff comes out, the white truffle and the black, the Perigord, what they call it, black truffle, so which is winter truffle.
Okay, I wanted to thank you both for sharing these lovely experiences with us, also considering that it's close to midnight your time. We really, really appreciate it. And again, if you're looking to travel like a local, I highly recommend personally the Italian on Tour, and Chantelle and Giovanni will take great care of you. Buonanotte, ragazzi.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, before our next guest, I will do a little pubblicità, and then we're going to have our next guest on. Are you looking for something special to do on Valentine's Day? Join Mondo Italiano's special ravioli making class Sunday, February 13th at 3 p.m. More details available at www.istitutomondoitaliano.org.
Okay, so the second segment, as we have been announcing for a few weeks, we were looking for a love story, someone that would share how the U.S. and Italy connected. And now we're going to have two wonderful individuals, two wonderful souls. I personally know them, Antonella Cantiello from Pordenone and Sean Fitzpatrick from Pittsburgh, and I wonder if that P somehow brought them luck, because I just realized that both their hometowns started with a P. And so let me hear. Are you both online, Antonella and Sean? Buonasera.
Sì, buonasera.
Ciao Viviana.
Buonasera, grazie per la vostra pazienza. Okay, so where does this story begin? I think I'm going to start with Sean. Maybe if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how and when you ended up in Italy.
My name is Sean Fitzpatrick, and I'm a Pittsburgher. And I'm also an honorary Pordenonese, said by some people. And I've been married to my beautiful wife for almost 32 years. Yeah, it'll be 32 years this year. So, and I'm a veteran. I was in the United States Air Force, and when I was in basic training, we were given a form to complete of all the destinations, like a wish list of all the destinations we might want to serve in the States and out of the States. So I think it was like 6 and 6 domestic and 6 international. And I did choose Italy. I knew nothing about Italy. I didn't know.
That was going to be my next question, if you had any expectations or anything from Italy. And
no, I knew there was sun, and I knew it was like the birthplace of pizza and lasagna. I was excited about that. But other than that, no, I didn't know much.
Okay.
Just excited to be going.
Okay, maybe Google a couple of things and everything. And so let's switch to Antonella. So because, again, we talked about their meeting being fortuitous. So Antonella, you have the base Aviano in Pordenone, and you share with me that people are accustomed to see Americans, in the stores strolling. There is a nice percentage. So had you interact much, on a more personal level, or what did you think about?
Yes, so I actually had next door neighbors that were Americans, but we didn't interact much with them. They stayed mostly, in their home, and then there was the language barrier. But in my area, we are very much accustomed to have Americans living in our towns. So, it's very common to see Americans around. However, I had never even thought for a second about having an American boyfriend. I wasn't interested at all. I never thought about it. And it was absolutely one of those circumstances that you don't foresee coming. Mm-hmm. And
so do we have to thank your little sister? There is a 7-year difference between you and your sister, and you usually would not go out with your younger sister, but that one night, what happened?
Absolutely. I know. I never went out with my sister because she's much younger than I am. But that one night, January night of 1989, I went out to dinner with her and her friend. And we went to this restaurant in Aviano, and sitting at another booth, there was Sean, who I didn't know, of course, and his friends. And when they left before us, and they stopped by our table to say hi to my sister and her friend, because they knew some in Sean's group knew them. And I saw Sean, and I wasn't impressed by him at all, because he didn't smile.
Although he's very handsome. Can I say that? We're good friends, so we can say that.
Yeah. I actually thought that he was good looking. Sorry. I thought that he was good looking, but I also thought, oh my gosh, that guy is so, who does he think he is? But we leave the restaurant, and my sister asked me, because I was the driver, she didn't drive yet, and she asked me if I wanted to go meet with the friends that they had just seen at this outlook that is just outside the town of Aviano, in this location called Castello di Aviano. And it's very pretty. You can see the whole valley. You can see all the lights of the base and Pordenone and all the towns around. So we went to the outlook, and we started talking, and Sean was speaking Italian.
He speaks Italian beautifully. It's very impressive.
Oh, my goodness. And not only was speaking Italian, but because at that time he was hanging out with a lot of people locals from the Veneto region, which is very close to, the base. He spoke Italian with a Veneto accent. And I was like, wow, look at this guy. And I was so impressed that he spoke Italian, because I didn't speak English. I spoke extremely, little English. I didn't study English in school. I studied French, so I knew a couple of words here and there. And we had a great conversation, and he could talk with using, all these words, and I was so impressed.
Sean,
and that made me look at him in a different light.
Sean, I want to ask Sean a question, because this is important. Sean, you said you asked for Italy, and you actually got what you asked for. Were you surprised at that? Because I'm a vet too, and so I understand the form you filled out.
Oh yeah, I was pretty surprised, because a lot of people, rumors are going around. Oh, they're going to send you to Minot, North Dakota.
Yes, because you asked for Italy.
The word was, why not Minot? I was like, oh my God, I want to go. I don't know if we go there. But then came up Italy, and I was like, oh man, this is great. Even though, at that time there was no Google, there was no internet to do like a search, all the stuff like it. No, none of that. You just, you ask people, or you went to the library and you got something to read about where you were going.
Yeah, for our listeners, a library is a place where they keep books. We haven't done that in a long time, Sean. But no, it's funny, because usually when you ask for something, they say, oh, Italy. Okay, to your point, you're going to Minot or Alaska. When you got the orders, did you learn Italian before you went to Italy, or did you wait till you got there and then just started picking it up?
Oh, no, I waited till I got there and started picking it up. When you get to, at that time period, when you got to the base, they gave you what was called a 2-week Benvenuti class, which, oddly enough, we had a German teacher. This woman, she's German, and she was teaching us Italian and about the culture and so forth. And it was 2 weeks long. And at the end of the course, she would take this group. It was a group of us to the market, and we had to ask for things in Italian with what little Italian we learned. And after that, after that was over, you were pretty much on your own. But I had a good group of friends, good group of buddies they were all about, going and exploring and seeing things. And so, we had made a pact with ourselves that we were going to, get some books, and we were going to learn a little bit of Italian every day, read something. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, that's how I started. And just by, every little bit that I learned, get a chance to speak with someone. And, it was always encouraging because people would be encouraged of the fact that I spoke, a little bit, and they were like, oh, okay, well, and then you start to learn from other people, how they say things, what to say, when to say,
That
things like
seems
that.
to be in parallel with the experience that the young Italian men had come into the U.S., where for them English was indeed the foreign language, and they just started to talk to people, and that's how they got better. So let's fast forward. This relationship is going. Tell us about when you got married, and then what happened once you were honorably discharged.
Well, I didn't really do it the traditional way where you get down on one knee and ask for Antonella's hand in marriage. I went back to the States first on vacation, and I told my mom that I believed I found the one. She was the one, and I told her everything about her, and I said, we're getting married. And I called Antonella, and I said, hey, we're getting married.
I was like, what are you doing on Friday at 6? We're getting married.
Right. I'll see you at the wedding.
And she was like, yeah, good, that's great. And so from there, she started prepping, and by the time I got back to Italy from vacation, they were already well underway for preparing. Mm-hmm. And we had a beautiful little wedding with all of our friends. I had family from the States come to the wedding, and it was just wonderful. And
I would encourage anyone that is in front of has a cell phone or to go onto our Facebook page, because there is a beautiful picture of Antonella. It looks like Lady Diana with this beautiful hat, and then you, Sean, you have a smile that goes from one ear to another. And there are so many comments from family and relatives. You have your own fans club. I mean, people couldn't be happier to hear your story here on the show. So what was your life after you decided to move on again, career-wise?
Well, I had actually extended my stay in the military. I'm getting married, so I wanted to be sure, so I extended for a little while, and then after that, my extension was over, and I was honorably discharged. And I'm an artist. It's a hobby, profession now, but at the time it was a hobby that I really enjoyed, and I thought that I could become an artist. And I just was pretty much like a starving artist, and starving mostly, not much art. I tried to do different things, and I had a few small jobs here and there, but nothing that was sustainable. So I decided that we would come back to the States. We would come to the States, and I would go to school, and I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. With the intention of going, once I finished school, going back to Italy to live. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we did. I went to school, got my degree, and then we went right back to Italy. And I was able to start working almost right away. Mm-hmm. And but it was a little harder for Antonella. It was a little more difficult. Because the country of Italy has really good laws that protect women when they become pregnant, starting a family. Mm-hmm. They protect, they're given a certain amount of time off from work, and which made it difficult for businesses to hire her, even though she had a very good resume from the work that she did in the States. But we didn't have children, so businesses would be, they would take a look at the resume. This is great. We'd love to hire you, but you don't have any children. You may end up having children, then we won't see you for a while. So that made it a little difficult on us.
Mm-hmm. So was that when you decided to return to the U.S.? And Antonella, how was that for you?
Well, it was a shock.
that was a long sigh.
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was. I had been to Pittsburgh before, but on vacation, and when you go to a place on vacation, everything seems wonderful. And so when we moved here, I spoke, like I said, very little English, and I had to go to work. And I was so afraid. I was terrified. Every, little task would scare me. Going to the grocery store, going to the bank, the post office, and let's not even, talk about going to an interview. But anyway, I managed, and I found employment through a temp agency at Mellon Bank, and I worked there for a year, and I found a great coworker, which I haven't seen since, and that was in 1993, and I don't know if she's still in Pittsburgh. If she is and she's listening, hi, Kim Jones. I would love to see you again. And she was so nice to me, and we had a great time that year that we worked together. And then with my confidence growing, I felt like I could start looking for the job that I was doing when I worked in Italy. I was a computer programmer. And so I started applying for that position, and I went to a couple of interviews that were not good. They were very, different than what I was used to. And then I went to an interview that went very well, and it's still the job that I have today. So I've been working for the same company for 27 years.
Fantastic.
And have been treated very well. And, I found great coworkers. And I've been very fortunate. But those first few months were very, very hard.
And also the weather, because you mentioned 1993.
My goodness.
And I have a horror, it's kind of a cute story on one end, because I came on December 17th and December 19th was my birthday. And my friends took me I just landed in Pittsburgh. The following weekend, they took me to Seven Springs. So one of those lovely cabins. I opened the window and it's snowing, and I hadn't seen snow maybe when I was a little kid. So I was like, oh, this is the best gift Mother Nature could have given me. So I go outside, still in my PJ. Wanted to build a snowman, which I had no idea how to, because I was just patching up some snow, and my friends are taking videos, because here it is, the girl from Italy with a heavy accent has no idea how to build a snowman. But anyway, we had a blast, but it was May and it was still snowing. Was that your recollection that year as well?
Almost exactly, Viviana. I saw the first snow on Halloween night, and I was so excited. We were living with my mother-in-law back then, because we had just arrived, and I see the snow, and I was jumping up and down. I was like a little kid. And my mother-in-law and Sean were looking at me like I was crazy.
Okay.
And I didn't understand why they weren't excited, And then I understood why, because that winter, oh my goodness, we had so much snow. And it was the year that the Groundhog Day movie came out, and I truly felt like I was living it, because every morning I would wake up, look out the window, and it was snowing again, and again, and again. We had the blizzard. Oh my gosh, it was so... I didn't know one place could get that much snow and it could be that cold. Okay. I had no idea.
So before the closing, because we're really at the very end, Sean, in 60 seconds, what's your secret recipe for this beautiful marriage?
Give of myself. Give everything in love, in fun, everything.
Just put it, just
Guanala.
being there 100% all the time. So to thank you very much for your participation, I would like to invite you to our special Valentine's cooking class this coming Sunday. We'll be making heart-shaped ravioli, so I will get in touch with you afterwards. But thank you very much, and Stefano.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Thanks. Our folks, our hour is almost up. And it is almost time for us to say arrivederci, alla prossima. And again, we want to thank our listeners. We want to thank our guests. And obviously, before we leave, we want to let you know that if you have a story to tell, if you want to, sponsor an episode, if you just want to communicate with us, please send us an email at theitalianradiohour@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And before we leave, again, if you by chance have missed this episode or would like to listen to it again, you can always visit the Mondo Italiano website at www.istitutomonditaliano.org, and you can click on the tab The Italian Radio Hour. E vorrei ringraziare i nostri ospiti Chantelle, Giovanni, Antonella e Sean, our sponsor Istituto Mondo Italiano, Rizzo Malabar, and Alla Boara for the music. And finally, before we leave, here is our next trivia for the week. Complete this expression. Chi dorme non piglia what? Okay? Once again, chi dorme non piglia what? You can send us the answers to the Italian Radio Hour at gmail.com. You will be seeing also Facebook posts all about it. So you know where to put to send us the correct answer.
And again, keep those emails coming. We actually enjoy reading your answers. If you are not in the Pittsburgh area or might be traveling, remember you can catch us streaming live at khbradio.com every Thursday at 5 p.m. And be sure to like us on Instagram or Facebook at The Italian Radio Hour. Until next time, alla prossima.
Ciao, ciao.
The Italian Radio Hour has been sponsored by Istituto Mondo Italiano.